Hello, this is Zender and welcome to my VRcade. Many of you discovered my channel with my 1-month review of the Catwalk C2 Plus, and have even commented that you are interested in the C2 but have questions about it, such as cost, space, noise, and how good is the immersiveness. Well, it's thanks to your viewership that I now have the opportunity to provide you with this, my first affiliate review of the Loco S and Nexus, which might be the answer to your questions. CatVR sent me these devices free with the expectation that I will present my opinion of them honestly. This is not a sponsored or paid review. However, if you choose to purchase one of these devices using the affiliate link and $20 coupon in the description, I would receive a small commission and greatly appreciate your support. Furthermore, the Loco S and Nexus are on sale through the end of March, and my code can be used with this sale. With that in mind, I will be covering the 3 ways CAT's products can be combined in a 3-part series, respectively, so I can share my conclusions as quickly as I reach them. The first part will cover Loco S used in combination with PCVR games. The second one, hopefully out next week, will focus on the Nexus, which allows you to use the Loco S to play Quest standalone store games that are listed as compatible on CAT's website. After the initial setup with the Windows PC, you won't need a PC connected to play those games. Third, I will be testing my C2 with the Nexus to play Quest standalone games that otherwise I wouldn't be able to use with the C2. So I hope you find all that interesting, and I will now begin my review of the Loco S with PCVR games. Before I dive into gameplay and my thoughts on the Loco S, I thought it'd be helpful to do a quick unboxing and instructions on how to set the devices up. You can see you'll have your 3 sensors. The left and right sensors will have lights blinking to their respective leg or ankle you'll want to put them on. And the center one will have a button that you'll click. That's great for in-game recentering or recalibration when you need to. You can put each sensor on its own strap. You can see here's an ankle strap. That's going to be one of the shorter ones. And for the waist belt, you can see they give you 2 longer straps that you can strap together to make a longer waist belt, or you can just clip it to a belt on your pants. Here you can see also included in the lower portion of the box, you have the receiver for the sensors, and it's got a port where you'll want to plug in a micro USB cable connection at one end, and then a USB-A or rectangular port into the back of your PC. This cable is really important to understand that there is one end, USB-A or rectangle, that goes into your PC, and then you've got the gray for data, which you'll need to pair each of the sensors, and the remaining 2 black sensors are there only for charging those sensors, which is kind of nice, so you can charge all 3 devices simultaneously. That covers the hardware setup, so now I will briefly show you what you need to do from a software perspective. To download the software, you'll want to go to CatVR's website and go to the support section and click on Loco S, not the Loco, which is the older version of this device. And then you're going to go ahead and scroll down to software. And you're probably, in this case, going to be looking for the Gateway 2.16 for Windows. The Nexus software we'll talk about next week with that. The nice thing is that the Gateway 2.16 software also works with the C1 and C2 treadmill. Before I delve into the software setup, I do want to note that the frequently asked questions on the CatVR support website are excellent and include answers to questions such as, what devices can I combine this with? Or, what games are compatible and tested to work with the Loco S? Whether they're on the Oculus platform or the Steam platform, it breaks them down here for you. You should also download the Loco S Owner's Manual so you can go through a detailed breakdown of step-by-step what you'll want to be doing with the software along the way. With the receiver plugged in, as I showed earlier, we're now going to move on to the software and follow the steps for pairing the 3 sensors. This is what you'll see, even in some cases after you've installed the newest update, 2.16. You'll go ahead and acknowledge that. And one thing I forgot to screen save here is you would click on Sensor Management, and that would bring you to this screen. And you can see I already have each sensor paired and my receiver connected. If your receiver is not connected, now you know. If it is connected but your sensors aren't paired, click pair and you'll pair each one at a time, again with the gray wire one at a time. And at this point, you should be good to go ahead and try them on. Just be certain that when you do put them on, that they are in the appropriate orientation and placement on your body so they do respond to your movements accurately. At this point, you're probably ready to hop in and play a game. Just make sure your play space is appropriate and you don't kick a wall or something like I did when using my C2 with full body trackers in a Kung Fu game, which you can see in my Dragon Fist Kung Fu video. And quick note, these Loco S trackers do not function as full body trackers, so you can't kick with them and your character's avatar won't kick respectively, but they are a lot of fun in a lot of ways, which I'm about to show you now. Hello everyone, here I am in Pavlov in the kill house, which is I think a great way to show off how well the Cat Loco S works. So I'm connected to PCVR and you can see here I'm doing a little walking, I stop. Now backwards can take a little while for that to kick in, and then the thing I really like over my C2 is how quickly the strafing gesture works. It's still a little hard to do in the heat of the battle, but then again, I've only played this maybe 2 or 3 times. But I think that's a big advantage, how quickly and smoothly versus the C2, you kind of do this slide and you're trying to think about the tracker on the bottom of the shoe, actually contacting the dish, and you can, I guess, get more precise with the C2, but it's really tough to figure out and really dial in the sensitivity. Speaking of which, if I'm hopefully showing you here, it's going to show my OBS recording screen for a minute, and then it's also going to show, if I go to, you can see here in the Steam VR menu, I can click on the Cat beta software here, and you can see here I have these adjustments to make. So for most of you, all you'll have to do, and you do always want to calibrate the game every time you come in, you can do that by clicking here or the button on the waist, and just one click and it calibrates your direction there. So speed I have cranked to 2 because when you're using these kinds of devices, whether it's a C2 or the Loco S, people who are using the thumbstick, when they click forward, they're automatically going their fastest speed, faster than you can move your feet, so you're at a disadvantage. So that can help. What I found is it's best to follow what CAD advises in the instruction manual for this, and that is set the sensitivity as low as you can to trigger a response. If you crank up the sensitivity thinking like I did, oh, maybe I'll move faster if I make it the sensitivity a higher positive value. That is not the case. It didn't work for me when I did that. In fact, what took me a long time to figure out was to go down here and set the sensitivity to 2, and I've just started playing some other games with the Nexus, and in some cases they default to a negative number and then actually responds more quickly. So only adjust what you think you need to and nothing more, and I think you'll have a lot of success. So what I'll do now is I'll do a quick run through the kill house here. Those have been bugged. Right, for me, that was actually a good run. I did miss 2 targets because it's bugged right now. I hope that shows you how well you can do, and I didn't even use the strafing feature. It's a little hard to do on the fly, but shows you I can get through there pretty accurately. I think it's a pretty good test of its abilities. With that, I'm going to try to find a match real quick. You can see I can do a slight controller turn there and it doesn't kill my movement. Gee, that worked really well there. I mean, my aim was off, but that really did what I was looking for. For my first game with the Loco S, I decided to try Until You Fall. Here I am in the starting lobby, and I'm just trying out the initial motions. Here you can see walking is initiated pretty easily. You don't have to walk with crazy high knee steps or anything. And then the backward motion, there is a little bit of a delay, and I have seen that pretty consistent across most games. Some games a little faster than others. It is an easy movement to initiate, but it's not very quickly initiated. Now, this is a mistake on my part. This left to right gesture, I saw this from an older video with an older version of the software, so that left to right pushing your foot really far out like that is not what the current software does. However, as you just saw in the Pavlov game, I used the new correct 90-degree foot turn, lateral foot turn, and that initiates strafing quite quickly. So in this video game clip and all the others that I use in this part 1 review, please ignore any of those gestures I do because those are purely user error. And any frustration I express is due to my foolishness in not following instructions. All right, let's play. Now I can dash still. Immediately, I feel like I have a lot more flexibility in the way I move. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not tethered at the waist like I am with the C2. I think I want to up my walking speed a bit. And I can do that in a moment here. Of course, that may just be this game. Yeah, that's this game. Forget. Wants you to dash a lot. So something I realized about that more in retrospect, that a lot of games like this one, Until You Fall, a lot of roguelike games where you actually have a fixed walking speed. This is one of those games where you can run as fast as you want in reality, but it's not going to help you out because the game won't let you run any faster. You need to use the dash button, or in this case, a controller stick button to make you move quickly. And you'll get your steps in, but you're going to lack immersiveness in some games like this and the VRcade I've noticed. Same as holds true with the C2. Watch my backwards heel here, and I think you'll realize why I got confused at this moment. Whoa, I don't know why I walked backwards. Watching this after the fact, I realized what happened. I had my heel back pretty far there, and that triggered a backwards motion like it's supposed to. And you'll hear me realize in just a second, that's probably because I had the backwards sensitivity set too high because I was messing around with that. I think I did that alternating strike well. All right, so I have the sensitivity set high, so that did lead to an accidental move there. Also, upon further reflection, I realized that's probably just the gesture doing what it's supposed to, because I did put my foot back behind me. So just being aware of that gesture, that's what it's supposed to do, should help you be able to account for it. I'm just experiencing it for the first time in an action sequence. And I think that covers most of my takeaways on Until You Fall, so let's go ahead and check out another game. The last game I will be playing to test the Loco S after the fall was not chosen for its incredibly close name to Until You Fall. Allow me to explain my reasoning. I actually played these games in the reverse order I am demonstrating them to you now. So you saw the correct strafing gesture first, rather than my mistaken one in the following two games. I chose Pavlov to test a competitive shooter, Until You Fall because of its slower movement style as a way to gradually learn Loco S, its sword-based combat, and the live camera integration is cool to watch. This last test using After the Fall is chosen because it is an Oculus PCVR game that I own. And unlike the other two games that I showed that were Steam games. This is important to know because based on my experience with the C2, if you want to play an Oculus PCVR game with a Cat VR device, you have to use AirLink or QuestLink because the Cat Gateway software does not work with Virtual Desktop with Oculus Store games. I tested the Steam games with virtual desktop because that's my preferred way to play wireless PCVR. Plus, modder Astian created a Pro Volver mod for this game and asked for my help testing it, so I decided to kill two birds with one stone. And I also ran it with Florian's Behaptic mod simultaneously, which I figure is a good way to put it through its paces to see if the Loco S would have any potential conflicts. So with that said, I didn't record any commentary in-game while playing it, and ignore my terrible foot strafing gestures, and I think this is just a good example of seeing how well the Loco S runs, how smoothly it works with forward movement and turning on an axis, which is a great feature of the Loco S you can do, and just to see how smoothly this game runs as well.
Once we figured out we could repurpose old arcade. High bomb!
I was genuinely impressed with the Loco S. Comparing the retail pricing between Loco S and the C2 Plus, I think the Loco S has an amazing value per dollar at roughly 15% of the C2 Plus's cost, and that's even before considering its not insubstantial shipping cost. It even has some advantages from an immersiveness standpoint. For the cons, you are of course walking in place versus with the C2 you are moving your feet, more akin to an elliptical exercise on high resistance setting. Unfortunately, I don't think the Loco S is as fun or as immersive as the C2 with its ability to let you walk at a full stride. Its lack of physical resistance also means you get less of a physical benefit than if you were using the C2 versus the Loco S. Also, I do experience a slightly longer delay before my in-game character moves backwards or strafes sideways. Its pros, however, are far more numerous. Aside from it costing a fraction of the cost of the C2, it takes up no space other than the area you stand, is vastly easier to assemble and move, and assuming you are using it on something like a carpet or a rug, it's rather quiet. Also, since you're not tethered to a waist belt, I feel the Loco S gives you great agility and freedom of movement, which can be handy in melee combat games or dodging and shooter games, where you want to kneel or go prone, which you can do a lot more easily with the Loco S than you can with the C2. Loco S also allows you to initiate a faster, more consistent strafe movement. I don't regret my C2 purchase and will still prefer it for fitness and greater overall immersiveness when walking through large game environments and games like Into the Radius and VR Chat. The C2 is simply more fun in that regard, but when I want to play competitively, its strafing, although delayed, is still more predictable and consistently engages greater than the C2. Furthermore, if I need to quickly move with the thumbstick, I can override the Loco S with my thumbstick and barely any delay, whereas with the C2, effectively you come to a complete stop when you push the thumbstick and are still walking on the C2. And it takes longer for one to override the other and your movement to resume, which of course is going to be a real problem in a competitive game. Although Cat says they're working to solve this delay between inputs, for now, Loco S is going to be my go-to for online competitive shooter play at a less competitive disadvantage to players using just their controllers. Controller use will always be faster, but for me, the immersion trade-off is worth it. For the next part in the series, hopefully out within a week, I will be covering the Cat Loco and Nexus, which I think is an excellent value proposition for those of you without a gaming PC. I have only gotten it working just now, so please subscribe and click the bell to be notified when that video goes live, and click the like button if you appreciated my thoughts. If you have any questions or topics you would like me to consider in the next review, please comment below. If you want to take advantage of the sale ending this month and the additional $20 off with my coupon code, please click the link and use said code in the description. Thank you so much for watching.